Hello viewers. Now we're running pretty short on time, so I'm going to try and power through this next tip as fast as humanly possible. But tip number 4 is to allow sorting on aggregate columns. Now if you're not sure what that means, it's fairly simple. This dollar here is an aggregated column. For example, this $4,000 came from multiple values here. And so if we just sorted our source data, these groups wouldn't be sorted by which one had the most dollars. You want to allow the users to be able to sort by the things that they can see. And when you have subgrouped reports, you want to sort the groups and the subgroups by whatever the user selected that they can see, not just like a type or an ID or something like that. So let's get into how to allow the user to sort by any of these 4 columns. So to begin with, I am going to go into my Moxel and I'm just going to create the parameters that allow us to do this. So I'm going to say sort on as the first parameter, and the values that we are going to allow are group ID. We're going to call that group ID. We're going to call it group name. Now this is just things that we are picking. These don't need to be specific to anything. So I'm going to call the dollar amount, actually I can just call it dollars. So I'm just going to call it $sign and quantity. So these are going to be what we're going to let ourselves sort on. And all we need to do is remember what we picked here, because we're going to be creating an expression that depends on what these values are. So I'm just going to save that off on my snipping tool so I can look at it later. Hit OK. And then we're going to add one more parameter, which is going to be sort direction. Unfortunately, in SSRS, we can't parameterize sort direction, so we have to do a little bit of a goofy thing. But the value for ascending is going to be ASC all caps, and we're going to have the label for that specify to the user what ascending means, because you never know. It's always good to be explicit, and descending is going to be descending Z through A, 9 through 0. Okay, so that should give us enough to feed to the report to pick a sort. So we're going to go into our precision design, and we are going to go into the definition for group 1. So I'm going to go properties, groups, group 1. I'm going to edit the definition. I'm going to show the sorting here. Now notice I cannot parameterize this, but what I can do is I can say sort. I can put 2 sorts here. I can say sort by nothing if I can say if you've picked ascending, then sort by the thing I want to sort by, otherwise sort nothing here. And then I can do the same here, and only one of these sorts will actually have value. And it does preserve the order from the previous sort if you continue to sort. So that is how you parameterize ascending, descending. That'll make sense here when we look at the picture. So to start off with, this is the ascending direction. So we're going to say if the parameter for sort direction does not equal ascending, then we're going to sort by just a blank string. So everything gets a blank string, so it just ends up in the same order. And if the sort direction parameter was ascending, so it wasn't not ascending, then we're going to sort by the rest of this stuff that we're going to put here. Okay, so what we're going to put in here, this basically says we're going to sort by ascending this, and what we're going to put in is a big giant switch statement. Now how a switch statement works is it takes pairs of parameters. The first parameter is Boolean, the second parameter is some object. And it goes through that list and looks for the first Boolean expression that evaluates to true, and then it returns the parameter after that one. So on this switch statement, I'm going to make this very, very big. because this is a big ugly statement that we are going to build once and copy and paste, we are going to say, we're going to query that sort on. So we've got group IDs, group names, dollars, and quantities. We're going to have group ID be the default sort, so I'm going to save that one till the end. So I'm going to say the first parameter is, this is going to be the Boolean, remember, sort on equals group name. So that's the first parameter of the switch. So if that equals true, it's going to return this next thing. And so what I want to sort on, if they've picked to sort on the group name, since this is group 1, is going to be fields, data methods, get name call of group 1 dot value. The same thing that we put in the name column for that. And now for the additional parameter sets of this switch statement, we're going to say, let's suppose the sort on value was the $sign. Then what we're going to sort it by is we're going to sort it by the sum over this group, because the group level is implied, the sum of the line amount. And if the sort on value was quantity, then we are going to sort these groups by the sum of the quantity. And otherwise, so I'm going to say 1 equals 1. You can put the word true there or whatever you want there. This just evaluates to true. So it's going to try all these. If it doesn't, it's going to go down to our default. And our default one, we want it to be the same as the group ID. So even if they wrote group ID, it'll fall to default anyways. And that expression is going to be fields, parameters, parameters group 1 dot value. That's what was in the ID column. Okay, so that completes the switch statement, and we are just going to have to take these extra equals out of there. I forgot I'm not in C#. It's a little confusing that AXSRS is in Visual Basic and has data methods from C#. But anyways, this is our sort statement for group 1, ascending. And then if I go into the descending, all I need to change is this here, descending, right? So I'm going to hit OK. That's the sort expression for group 1. And the sort expression for group 2 is going to have to be that same thing, except for these group 1s need to be group 2s. Okay, so that's the ascending expression. Then what I can do is I can take this whole thing, paste it in there. Now I've pasted in the group values, and I'm going to call this descending. This is the descending expression for group 2. Go into group 3, put a sort expression in. Now this was set for group 2, so we need to change that to group 3. It's sitting there in 2 locations. Copy that all, paste it again, and change that to descending. All right, and that is it. It's going to execute this available groups. It doesn't execute that slowly. It's a little more sane about when it executes query parameters for dropdowns when the report is published. This design preview is really goofy with stuff like that. So I'm going to say customer invoice item, and I'm going to sort on a descending dollar amount. So you can see here the group 1s are sorted in descending dollar amount, our group 2s are sorted in descending dollar amount, and our group 3s are additionally sorted in descending dollar amount. So we have, we're actually sorting on the aggregate there. So anyway, that does it for tip 4. Stay tuned for the next and final tip.